Real Housewives of Lockup. Why Glorify Scammers by AfroBudgetinGirl. This content is for informational purposes only and reflects my personal experience. It's not financial advice. Another week, another Bravo mugshot. The most recent addition to the Real Housewives Hall of Fraud comes from Potomac. Dr. Wendy Osifo and her husband, Eddie Osifo, allegedly charged with multiple felony counts of insurance fraud. The couple reportedly claimed over $200,000 in stolen luxury goods after a supposed home burglary, only for some of those same items to reappear on social media. The alleged burglary unraveled like a reality TV plot twist that went too far. But this isn't a one-time scandal, it's a pattern, and patterns matter not just in pop culture, but in money. This is why understanding your financial ecosystem is essential. Behavior, pressure, and environment always shape financial decisions. Jen Shah from Salt Lake City, serving 6.5 years in prison for running a telemarketing scheme that defrauded elderly victims nationwide, with restitution ordered in excess of $6 million. Teresa Giudice from New Jersey, convicted of mail, wire, and bankruptcy fraud. Prosecutors alleged the couple netted over $5 million in illicit gains across roughly a decade. Erica Jane from Beverly Hills, never criminally charged, but her estranged husband, Tom Girardi, was convicted of embezzling over $15 million from clients and funneling more than $25 million into companies tied to Jane's lifestyle. At this point, Andy Cohen could create The Real Housewives, Lockup Edition, and people would still tune in. Why do these scandals keep happening? And more importantly, why do we keep rewarding them with fame? The glorification of the scammer. From Bravo to Netflix. Reality TV thrives on excess. From designer closets to $10,000 dinners, wealth is the plotline. But when that wealth comes from fraud, what we're really watching isn't glamour, it's a masterclass in manipulation. The fascination doesn't end with Bravo. Streaming platforms have turned fraud into an entire entertainment genre. Netflix is inventing. Anna transformed Anna Sorokin into a global anti-hero, dramatizing her defrauding of about $275,000 from hotels, banks, and friends, while nearly pulling off multi-million-dollar loan scams. Hulu's The Dropout reframed Elizabeth Holmes as a complex visionary rather than a calculating deceiver, despite her conviction for investor fraud and a court-ordered $452 million restitution. These shows elevate the scammer's audacity while often muting the voices of the victims. Somewhere between a mugshot and a miniseries, crime became content and our empathy quietly shifted to the con artist. Privilege, perception, and the racial divide in fraud coverage. Here's where it gets uncomfortable and necessary. When white scammers like Sorokin or Holmes are caught, they're called brilliant, misunderstood, or ahead of their time. But when women of color like Jen Shah or Wendy Osifo are accused, the coverage instantly focuses on their greed, attitude, or deceit. The double standard is undeniable. Whiteness grants the privilege of narrative a chance to be humanized, explained, or even admired. Black and brown women rarely get that lens. Their stories are flattened into cautionary tales. Financial power is not just about income, it's about who gets grace, second chances, and public empathy. These dynamics are part of the broader ecosystem explored in understanding your financial ecosystem. Streaming platforms may occasionally feature black scammers, but they're rarely romanticized, stylized, or reframed as iconic hustlers. There's no reinventing Anna equivalent for us, just look what she did. And that imbalance says everything about who society allows to fail beautifully. The real world. Taxpayer cost. Behind the glitter and gossip are real consequences. These crimes don't just affect rich victims, they ripple through the economy. Insurance fraud, the OSIFOS, raises premiums for everyone, a hidden tax on honesty. Wire and tax fraud, Teresa Giudice and Jen Shah, steals from public systems that fund education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Legal costs, investigations, trials, and incarcerations are all paid for by taxpayers. According to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, white-collar crime in the United States drains over $400 billion each year, with broader estimates reaching up to $1.7 trillion in total losses. Europe, a European Parliament study found that roughly 1% to 2% of the EU budget is defrauded annually, and the European Public Prosecutor's Office reported €24.8 billion in active fraud-related damages under investigation in 2024. Entire enforcement divisions, investigators, prosecutors, forensic accountants are devoted to chasing these cases. It's not just entertainment, it's an expensive global industry of crime and consequence. This is the invisible cost that everyday people absorb, the same people carefully planning, budgeting, and trying to stay afloat. The real moral of the story: fraud shouldn't be fashionable. The true luxury is integrity, building wealth honestly, even when it's slow or quiet. Integrity also means respecting money boundaries, especially when fame, family, or status get involved, something I explore personally in My Money, My Auntie, My Friend. We've allowed fame and deception to blur together, but it's time to draw the line. Let's stop turning criminals into celebrities and start celebrating the everyday people who budget, save, and build something real. Because when scammers win, we all pay the bill, literally and morally. Let's talk. What do you think? If we want a healthier relationship with money, individually and culturally, we have to move away from spectacle and toward intention. That shift begins with budgeting with purpose. Are you disappointed by how easily society turns fraudsters into icons? Have you ever seen a local version of this, someone celebrated who later turned out to be a fraud? Do you believe financial crimes like these don't affect you personally? Should we treat these stories purely as entertainment, or do they deserve deeper reflection? If this resonated with you, explore my free budgeting tools, including a tracker and 200-question workbook on my website, and subscribe for early access to the Budgeting with Purpose Masterclass. Because budgeting isn't just about money, it's about clarity, resilience, and choosing freedom over fear.